Hey there folks, and welcome to this review of this game right here, Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition. So this is not an expansion, it is a secondary game. I have not played the first one, but there is a little bit of a story if you want that. If you don't, you can play the game without knowing really anything about the first, which is the boat that I'm in. So let's go ahead and talk about this and dive on into it. So just looking through the components here, and one thing I will say is all of these components feel really, really nice. Like this is a nice kind of thicker paper. It's got the little grid on it that you can kind of feel texturized. It just feels quality. So the first thing you get out of the box, the instructions, just feel really, really nice. And there's your little quick start guide that gives you just quick info if maybe you are coming from similarities to Terraforming Mars, differences if you're coming from the other game, or you're wanting a quick refresher that may be useful for you. And this is a 1 to 4 player game. One thing I really, really like about this, oh, I'm missing one here. One thing I really like about this is you can play solo and you can play a cooperative 2-player game, as well as you can play 2, 3, 4 against each other as well. So just a lot of variety in how you can play this, but each player is going to get one of these boards, and you have your different colored cubes that basically you'll set throughout, set on the different pieces of this. And so this is the MC is what it's called, and that's basically the currency. This right here is how many cards you get when the production phase. So this is all indicative pretty much of the production phase. These up here, these two down here are a touch different, but this is just helping you to terraform Mars. And this is Mars right here. So you're going to have a counter right here on your oxygen, and you're trying to bring the oxygen level up. And then this right here is the temperature, and you're trying to bring the temperature level up. And then you're going to have some ocean tokens in here that you're flipping as well. Now the game ends when all 3 of those conditions are done. So when the oxygen is all the way up, when the temperature is all the way up, and all of the oceans are flipped, you've successfully terraformed Mars and the game is over. If you're playing solo mode, you play a certain set number of turns and you try to complete all of those tasks before the game ends. So that is how the game is different right there. We've got a lot of awesome little cubes here. These are the currency, so you have kind of the copper, silver, gold, and they represent 1, 5, and 10 right there. And you put those on these different locations to represent your MC, your heat, and your plants. So plants are going to help you you can purchase forests, which are going to help this marker go up, and every time that goes up you also get to go up on this track over here that gives you points. Victory points is basically what that is there. It's called something different that I can't remember right now. And then over here, heat is this one right here. This is heat. So that is how you're using this board to purchase different things, to move this tracker up, move yourself up, and get closer to accomplishing the game. And then right here you've got the 4 different colors for 4 different players, and then we got a few extra tiles here. So this is something right here that I think is kind of unique to this game that I really, really like. So you've got 5 different stages. And I'll flip these over this way. I don't know if you'll be able to see them or not, but you have stage 1 right here, which is development. You have number 2, which is construction. You have number 3, which is action. Number 4 is production, and number 5 is research. Now everyone is going to have 5 cards that have these 5 steps listed out on them. So every single turn you choose one of those, and as you look at that, you look and say, okay, I chose production, that person chose development, so everyone is going to get to play those 2 stages in the game, which really can be pretty fun to be able to play those things. But if you were the one that chose that card, you get a special extra ability. And this is how you place these other cards down. There's a big stack of cards right here. You've got blue cards, you've got red cards, and you've got green cards. And so during production or during development, you can place the green cards down, and then during construction, you can place red and blue cards down. So that is a brief description of that. There's a lot involved with little symbols and things. Pretty much every card says what it does, and so this seems like a game that's really, really daunting to start and jump into. Just follow the rules for the first time you play. There's some cards that have stars on them that should be a little bit easier to start out with. And then you grab a corporation. There's a number of corporations with this back on it. So you grab one of those, and again, there's some star ones on it that should be a little bit easier for your first game. And that will show you how much MC you start with and other special abilities that you will get. But overall, guys, this is a really fun game. It is a card drafting game. A majority of what you're doing here is drafting these different cards. Not necessarily from a pool that everyone can have together, but you're drafting from the cards in your hand what you want to play down with what you can actually spend. And so you're building up your own little corporation on Mars to try and go further and further. So really, really fun game. I love the decision making in it. I have played the solo mode as well, and I think it was actually really well done. It does have a couple of different difficulty levels. I played on the easiest one, and I beat it on, I think, the final stages of it. So definitely a game that I think I will be coming back to soon, because this is really, really fun, and I think it's got a lot of variety within the different numbers of people that you can play with. So my goal is to give you a brief overview of this game, and I guess the last thing that I think is worth mentioning is down here. These two things are certain resources. So there's a little house symbol right there. So here's the house symbol here. Here is the cost to build this card. So that's how much MC this costs. With different symbols, you can get discounts. And so this house right here, you can move your house tracker up for every card that allows you to do that. And if you had 5 of those, you get to multiply that by 2. So that'd be 10. And so you would get to subtract 10 from this card's cost. So it would only cost 5. And so that's one way you can get a discount with this. And then the star over here, you get to multiply it by 3 and then subtract that. So this one's 22. You know, if you had one of these, you'd get to subtract 3, and that card would cost less. And all of these cards do different things. The blue cards do different actions that you can see in the corner here. The ones that are orange, when someone's in the production stage, that helps your production here, how much of heat in plants and MC you produce on different turns. Purple is like a when this happens effect. When you raise oxygen, flip an ocean tile or raise the temperature and add 1 animal to this card. So there definitely can be a depth to this, especially the first time you're playing. I was really, really overwhelmed. I watched a really good video on how to play this. I'm trying to remember who it was. Sorry to not be able to give the shout out to whoever that was, but really Watch It Played is the guy's channel, I believe. But really fun game, really enjoy it, and hopefully that gives you a touch and a taste of what this is, what it does, and why it may or may not be right for you. Thanks.